Hello, and welcome to Beyond the Pages, a Blackstone Library podcast. I'm your host, Rich Pfeiffer. In today's episode, we're going to talk about books and beyond at the Blackstone. Today, our guest is Katie McNichol, the director of the Blackstone Library. Welcome, Katie.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the things that the library offers. Obviously, first and foremost, you're a lending library, so if you're looking for books to check out, this is the place to come. But as things have evolved, we now have ebooks and audiobooks. So can you talk a little about that?
Yeah. So we have in our library, you come in and we have some little highlighted displays showing off some bits of our collection. We've got our staff picks. We've got friends' quick picks that are popular books you can't put a hold on, but if you come in and get lucky, you get what you want. We've got a great collection in print. And then to supplement that, we have a couple of different ways to get ebooks, audiobooks. We even offer digital comics, as well as magazines, movies, and TV shows. So we have a couple of different services that we subscribe to, and then we make free to our library card holders. So there's Libby, there's Hoopla, and there's the Palace Project. And they all are slightly different in how they operate and who created them. But we've seen over the last 5 years a big spike in ebook usage, especially when COVID hit and people weren't coming in. They were still able to borrow and download these books that they wanted. So today, the digital book borrowing makes up about a quarter of our circulation stats each year. Yeah. And ebooks are great. I love ebooks. I love audiobooks that I can download. The one thing that is a challenge for all libraries everywhere, I will say, is the cost of the ebooks. We're facing this world where we've negotiated these contracts for our print books where we can purchase a print book for a percentage off of the list price. And so we're able to buy more books and make them available to people at a manageable price. The ebooks operate on this licensing system, and so we have to pay for a license, which then allows somebody to borrow it. They borrow that one time, the license gets a hit. And so we can pay for 26 borrows or 2 years, and then that license goes away. And so then if we decide we want to keep that book for the next year, we have to pay for it again. And those prices are 3, 4, 5 times what you as an individual would pay to purchase an ebook. So they charge us more and then they throttle the usage. And it's really challenging for libraries to satisfy this strong demand that people have for these ebooks and not have it totally blow the budget. So it's this line that we're trying to navigate as we go forward, and it's something that's a discussion point among all libraries everywhere. But I will say we really encourage people to check out those ebooks and those audiobooks if they want them. It's a great way to access content on the go. It's wonderful for people who have accessibility issues, and so we really do support the content. We're just trying to work on the back end to make sure that we can afford to keep it available for people.
And then instructions for how to access these is on the website for the library?
Yep. For all of the digital ebooks, whether it's Libby or Hoopla or the Palace Project, they're all apps. So you can download an app to your device. You can get instructions on the website. It's blackstonelibrary.org. But once you get the app loaded on your device, you put your library card number in, and it'll walk you through the rest of the setup. And then you can search for your book, look for your movie, and then hit checkout.
Simple question for you. Mm-hmm. How do you get a library card?
Getting a library card is really easy and quick. You can either start online, go to our website. There is a form you can fill out online to do a quick registration. That lets you put physical books on hold for 30 days until you come in with your photo ID and a proof of address. If you want to skip the online step, you just come right in, bring your photo ID, proof of address. We will fill out a card for you right there, get you in the system, and you'll be on your way. There is a second library in Branford, the Stony Creek Library. They serve the Stony Creek neighborhood, and so they have their own library cards. So if somebody comes in and they're from Stony Creek, we actually have a set of their library cards, and we will give them a Stony Creek card. Same thing, if you're in Stony Creek, you walk in the library there and you're outside of the Stony Creek residency, you can get a Blackstone card. So it's this system that we've worked out, but it's really easy, and once you get your card, you can go to any library in Connecticut. As long as you have the card and it shows the valid expiration date, they don't have to be part of our lending system. You can go up to Hartford, show them your card, they'll put you in the system, and then you can check out as if you were a Hartford resident or anywhere else. We are part of the Libraries Online Lion Consortium, and what that means is we are a member of this consortium of about 35 libraries, and we all share the computer system. So if you are a Guilford resident and you come here, we scan your card and we pull you right up in the system. If you're Branford and you have a Blackstone card and you go out to West Haven, they'll pull you right up in the system. The Lion system means that we can share collections with all these other libraries. So we actually have a delivery service that goes a few times a week from library to library and brings books back and forth to all those libraries. If you go on our catalog and you find something from the Madison Library and you really want it, you put a hold on it. Within a couple of days, usually, it shows up here. You get a notice that it's ready for pickup. And that service is one of the best things that's ever happened in this state. It used to be run through the state library. We brought it into the Lion local level. And it's become this core service that we really rely on and we're so grateful for because it just expands our collection into a collection made up of 35 different libraries.
Oh, that's awesome. That's good to know. Good information. One last thing about library cards. How long are they good for? When do they expire?
Yep, so once you get your library card, we set an expiration date of 3 years. And all that means is once it gets close to expiring, we'll give you a heads up and say, hey, your library card's about to expire. Can you confirm your current contact information? We just want to make sure if we need to call you, send you something in the mail, that we have your current contact. Once we get that, we will renew it for another 3 years, and we'll give you a little sticker with the updated date in case you do need to take it to another library to show them that it's valid.
Good, good. So I wanted to dive a little into some of the unique offerings that the Blackstone has. I'm just going to touch on them a little bit, maybe get in depth in some future podcast episodes, but I know that I've seen that you have little libraries within the library, like you have the Library of Things. Can you talk a little about that, what that is?
The Library of Things actually started in around 2015. It started off as the Maker Lab. Around that time, libraries had been experimenting with bringing 3D printers, other maker equipment into the library. And so the Friends helped us by funding some 3D printer purchases. We got some sewing machines, electronics equipment, and we put it on a cart because we didn't have a dedicated makerspace. And so that became our mobile Maker Lab. And we offered programs and opportunities for people to come in and get their hands dirty with these different pieces of equipment. Over time, libraries, I think, really started realizing that people wanted the opportunity to work on these projects at home. And so Maker Labs, in a lot of places, evolved into this Library of Things. And we had another opportunity from the Friends to morph into a Library of Things here. So they gave us a gift, and we were able to use that to purchase a whole bunch of items. So we have a metal detector, we have more sewing machines, we have a keyboard, an electric guitar, we have a Nintendo Switch, so many different pieces of equipment that people can use, things that you might not want every day, but you want it once, twice a year. And so we've purchased these items, we catalog them, and make them available for borrowing. One other really neat part of the Library of Things are a set of lawn games that we got. This was a little bit of kind of an experimental collection that we tried. a few years ago, we have a couple of cornhole sets, we have a croquet set, a giant Jenga set. So the lawn games we purchased a couple years ago as a pre-Library of Things trial, and people love them. They're great for summer, for parties. You can take them home, and again, it's something that you're not necessarily going to use every day, but knowing that the library has it, you can borrow it when you need it, is a really great thing. The Friends also help support the software that makes lending of these items available. On our website, when you're looking at the Library of Things, you actually can see pictures of each of the items when you're browsing for what they are. And when you click on that picture, it shows you all the available dates. You can reserve a set of dates that you want this item for up to 3 months in advance. So if you know you have a party coming up, you can reserve the giant Jenga for that date and then borrow it, have your party, and it'll be a hit.
That's awesome. And how long are you able to take an item out for, roughly?
Right now, we're lending them for a week. And of course, if there's a special circumstance or you need a little more time with something, as long as nobody's looking for it, we're happy to work with you to extend that time.
So you did mention 3D printing in our conversation. And I think you offer a service where if you send in a file, you can have something printed. Is that true?
Yeah, we offer programs from time to time where people can come in and learn about the machine, how to work it, and how to design files for it. And then for people who are comfortable designing files, we actually do accept files emailed in, and then as time allows, we'll print those out for the person. There are some stipulations. 3D printing takes a really long time. A piece that might be a couple inches tall might end up being a 6 or 8 hour print job. So we don't do print jobs that are longer than 8 hours, but we can usually tweak some things and work with the person to get them something that they're looking for.
That's really cool. Yeah. Going back a little bit to libraries within the library, I noticed that you also have something called a seed library and a recipe library, and I don't know if it's launched yet, but a toy library?
Yeah, we seem to keep multiplying these little special library collections. The seed library we started a little while ago, and we started that with some urging from a community member. She's worked to start other seed libraries, and she was really enthusiastic and super knowledgeable. So she worked with staff to help get us started, and we were able to get donations from community members, from national organizations, and put those out for the public. And the idea is anybody can come and take some seeds, plant those seeds. As they grow, they can enjoy them. And then we just encourage people at the end of the planting season, let some of those things go to seed, collect those seeds, and bring them back in, and we'll make them available for the next year. It's ideal, it's this sustainable, self-perpetuating seed library. We've gotten lots of donations of seeds over the last couple of years, and when we put the new seeds out, they get taken super fast. So I think it's been something that the community has really enjoyed. The idea that families are doing it together and kids are learning about the seed life process, and really this kind of paying it forward sustainability component just makes me really happy. The Little Free Library came about because a couple of local Girl Scouts were looking to do one of their final projects, and they wanted something that really reinforced the idea of community and people within that community sharing their culture. And they thought that a great way to share a piece of your culture was through food. And so the idea behind the Little Free Recipe Library is that here and at the Willoughby Wallace Library in Stony Creek, we each have a drop library, and you can come and share a recipe that's meaningful to you, your favorite thing growing up. You share the recipe, then people can come in and actually make copies of it and connect with you through that recipe. The toy library we just launched a couple months ago. We were approached by a group called Traveling Toys out of Guilford, and they have helped about 15 other libraries in the state get toy libraries started. And so they operate in a way where they write grants on behalf of the libraries to get funding, and then they help us set the actual toy bundles up. So they sought grants. They got grants from Branford Community Foundation and the Branford Rotary Club. And so those two organizations helped fund this toy library that has about 70 or 80 different toy kits. And they're high quality toys, and they address kind of these early literacy concepts. Kids really learn through play. And I think there's lots of research that it's just coming out more and more that play is so important for these little kids in how they learn about the world, which ultimately informs how they learn to read or they learn digital literacy. So it feels they're just playing with toys, but there's so much more behind that. And it's a chance for parents to really get involved with their kids, and it gives it that social component. Part of the toy library is also a game library for teens. So we didn't forget the teens.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So we have, in the teen section, we have a bunch of board games, and we were able to also buy another Nintendo Switch that we're not lending out. And so we're going to use that for teen group tournaments, just really reinforcing that kind of social connection that's so important.
And these offerings really emphasize that libraries are not just books anymore. There are so many more things that they offer and more services, more things to lend out. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, it's great. I think we've all come to realize that books and learning, yes, they're really important to brain development and getting information, but there is also a huge social component to humans. And we need these opportunities to come together in a shared space, in a safe space, and in a space that offers some entertainment, enrichment, skill development. And so we're using these different special collections to reinforce all of those different concepts.
And it's great that the Blackstone is really a community center for that, right? Those different ways to learn and things to borrow. So that's really cool.
Yeah. One of the fundamental things about libraries is that they're open and welcoming to everyone. You can come in, you can sit, you can spend all day, and nobody's going to ask anything of you other than be nice to each other.
So with that, I want to thank you, Katie McNichol, Director of the Blackstone Library, for joining us. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Rich. This has been really fun.
So this has been Beyond the Pages, a Blackstone Library podcast. I'm your host, Rich Pfeiffer, saying to you, please come visit the library. Thank you.